Dire's first pick. Usually it's the opposite, right? Usually it's first pick Radiant and second pick Dire. So that's a little bit of a change up there as well than we're used to seeing. But I'm already feeling more strength from this from NP. Like it just gives them a mixed damage potential already. Like okay, these two are very magical based, but we do like to see them change that up and go for like their Sven, their Beastmaster, stuff like that.
Yep, they were very effective in the group stages, Warlock and Marana as well, depending on who was playing it, I think. But Envy's, he knows Marana, so I think having the Warlock there, we've seen so many times of that mid game. A team fight starts, big fatal bonds, you drop the rock, big Marana rock, and the other teams just melt. With the Omni Knight, I mean, that's, when he GA'd in the last time, Alex, the reason that it was so effective is because it was all physical. So now it's not going to be as effective. He can sort of single target heal pretty well, but it's not going to be the same sort of, okay, you can't fight us for a few seconds that it was last time.
Yeah, that's also too. That also is that they had a lot of like individual, like single target, and now this time already it's more open target. So the Omni Knight, he can heal somebody, but he can't heal everybody with one shot until he gets like mech online.
Yeah.
Not forgetting as well, just to remind everyone while this draft is going on, yeah, Timber has been eliminated, but the winner of this has to play DC. They are waiting in the wings, just to clarify. That is where this bracket does take them. But step one.
I mean, honestly, the thing is, like, from MP's perspective, I mean, obviously, because it's single elim, they have to win this. I mean, the tension there, you lose one game, you lose the first game of the series, that's it, you're going home. There's no sort of, I will regroup. I mean,
That's a big team talk, right?
It is, yeah.
Imagine that, like, was it 20-minute, 15-minute turnaround where you're sitting there in a huddle like, hey guys,
we got to win this.
One game of Dota.
Yeah, so tight.
Go back to more comfortable style.
Right.
Heroes that I mean, they had a couple heroes that they're used to playing there, but they picked some that just are more like situational based, especially like the Weaver.
Weaver is something that I don't really see them picking that much.
Exactly.
Like, AUI usually just farms for 15 minutes, gets huge, and then starts joining the team. And Weaver's a much different hero.
So can we put that around on the other foot and say with EHOME, when you're 1-0 up, you can actually go for some kind of risk reward plays, because if it does pay off, you've got that win. If not, you've got the fallback of a third in the series.
Game 1, I think they kind of did that.
You did that already.
Like with the Lycan.
Yeah, they're free rolling now. It's like, to them, it's like, well, we can lose this game.
You could try something else.
And then we get the next. I mean, if you figure it's like a 50-50 shot, you only need to win one of the remaining 2 games. That's a nice spot to be.
I could definitely see them going for the morphing that you were talking about, though. I think, like, with the Omni Knight, as you mentioned, like, the team fight just becomes insanely difficult. And with the Ogre, too, Ogre, I think, as a support, you kind of have to concede the team fight with these two versus the Warlock Marana. Warlock is just overwhelmingly strong. And if they wanted to contest the team fight, maybe something else, I don't know. What's a stronger team fight? Like Disruptor, Witch Doctor, anything like that?
Yeah,
stronger than Ogre. So I think they could go Morphling Anti-Mage or something and try and split push a little bit better. But NP with the Beastmaster, it's a little bit of both, and it also gives them a lot of push potential, because with the Warlock, they know that they can contest team fights. They want EHOME to defend. They want them to actually fight them live. Beastmaster is a really good hero at that.
And he helps you take fights on your own accord, obviously with Hawk, with Vision. And then they also have the Marana ultimate, so they can really dictate which fights they want to take and which ones they don't.
Like, now EHOME's job has to be either you just dodge the fights entirely, or you try and figure out a way to contest them. And like you guys are saying, once you've got Warlock and Marana, pretty hard to contest that. You'd need something pretty special. But I thought their draft in the last game was so good and clever, and I think EHOME, they're the kind of team, apparently, that might be able to find a way.
Innovative Lanham, right? That's what we said?
Yeah.
So, definitely showed it in the last game. I mean, I just already looking at MP's draft, you're like, this is just so much like easier to execute, so much easier to play with, because it's good at all stages of the game.
Yeah.
And it's got mixed damage potential. You're not really emphasizing on just one thing.
Less criticism for the NP's draft then already.
Absolutely.
EHOME dipping a lot into the reserve time. Less than a minute left.
So old approach to Beastmaster, dealing with the Beastmaster. You fight Vision with Vision.
Ooh, another Night Stalker.
Their team fight is just terrible.
Their team fight is very awful now, yeah. 3 melee heroes as well versus a Beastmaster Warlock. So Warlock's he can get very easy Fatal Bond combos, and later on stages, if he decides to even scale upheaval, it can be pretty detrimental to EHOME's lineup.
So since you know that you already have the team fight sealed as MP, what do you go for? Do you just try and... Are you going to be able to win the Night Vision or the Vision game versus the Night Stalker? Are you going to be able to push hard enough into what they have?
Probably looking at SVG's hero next and saving AUI's for last, because they don't know the potential, what he's playing up Averse just yet.
Do you think the fact that EHOME will be dodging these fights early means you could put like Aoi and Envy
Okay.
on these sort of farming heroes, later game heroes, because you know you're not going to need them until they're ready.
Luna's a good mix of both.
Yeah.
You can push with the Beastmaster very early on, and you can skill late. And they already have the Diffusal carrier and the Mirana, just in case it goes late. So I like this. It's way more balanced. It's just more NP.
Okay.
Gives them
their spirit.
gives them more like lane strength as well.
Just want to explore your criticisms towards EHOME. No team fight, bad team, fight from them.
What do they have?
Exactly right. So like this is what I'm asking: is where did the strengths lie of their current 3 picks?
So
I know you guys aren't a big fan of Night Stalker the first time it was picked.
they have a way better vision. I would say, despite
Vision.
they have double night vision heroes. So Slark and Night Stalker both have what used to be called Ultra Vision, which is full daytime vision or during nighttime,
Right.
which is a big deal versus the Luna and the Beastmaster. Luna also has night vision, and Beastmaster has his Hawk for added vision. So if you don't want to take team fights and you just don't want to really take engagements at all, I would say early on in this game, especially once Warlock at 6, you need to be able to dodge fights as much as possible. So they're very good at playing elusive.
Yeah. I mean, that's Slark's pickup pretty much entails, guys, we're not fighting. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna go for pickoffs. We're gonna, maybe some like laning dominance with the Night Stalker Ogre, but that's why I think the Luna pickup for NP was very good, because now Warlock, Luna, multiple ranged heroes in your lane versus 2 melees makes it really hard for them to really contest. We'll probably see SVG playing more like a disabling hero, because they only really have they have Beastmaster and Mirana, but they don't have just like that one last thing in their tri lane to make it a little bit better. Or they go for some type of dual lane with the Beastmaster, maybe something like an Undying to contest the Slark.
I wonder if they could go with something that could help set up a stun on the Mirana, because just something to help them a little bit. I suppose, I mean, you've got Beastmaster once he gets a blink, that's nice, but it would be good to have something to help set up with the arrow.
I think with four
Hey,
four
look who's
melee,
back.
they can pick so many different things though. Like Wood
Yeah.
Doctor, like ET, like any of these.
Any of those, yeah.
Would be great.
ET would be good.
Leshrak's back in town now. Went from
Yeah.
being, we sat there and didn't criticize, but we said, okay, complexity play Leshrak, and then EG play Leshrak, and now we're seeing it in EHOME's pile. It does seem like it's growing in popularity across the Boston Major.
They don't have a hero that can hit buildings at all, so Lesh is just, one of those pickups that can always just enable that in a way with the Dive-Off Edict.
Is it Core Leshrac?
Sure.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
We haven't
it
seen
has
a
to
Core
be.
Leshrac yet.
Good.
We have not. And
It's all
it's,
been
I mean,
4s
it's
or 5s.
for good reason, I think, right? Honestly, it's got nerfed multiple times. It's like a super squishy hero. You need a lot of items to really be
It
tanky.
needed that nerf though, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
It was ridiculous.
Lightning
Every
was-
game was Leshrac for like a month.
Lightning was a ridiculous spell.
Yeah, I will forever remind people of how it was described by Z-Freak as it's got a stun and does damage. That's what I
Yep.
need. Yeah.
Okay, so they go for Senki. So yeah, some lockdown. They kind of needed even more team fights. So
Yeah.
I'm still looking at EHOME's draft, and there's no way they can fight in this game. They
Yeah.
need to just split the map up, go for late game,
Wow.
And it's way harder to execute.
and way harder to execute. And they're versus a Warlock with 4 melee. So if they try to take a fight in any way, they're just gonna get bound together. And
Well, it does seem like there's a very overwhelming lenience towards NP. You were so confident, Ted, but you expected to hear third now? That draft hasn't convinced you at all.
I think we're going to game 3.
our first game 3.
This could be it.
Maybe, just maybe.
This could be it. Our first game 3 of the playoffs. It only took
Maybe.
us 2.5 days. We could get there. We'll find out, though, of course, because it's not a guarantee. NP are playing for survival. Should they concede this game, they will be eliminated from the Boston Major without making it to the quarterfinals. They have high hopes and dreams and aspirations of making big damage here at the Major, but it could end now if EHOME make this draft work. We'll find out with your casters. It's going to be Toby1 and Gods to guide you through the action.
It's a very good question. Can EHOME actually make this draft work? They're bringing in the Leshrac, they're running it more as a solid core, not the support we've been seeing fluttering around during the Boston Major so far. Gods, is it possible? Will this be another 2-0?
Anything's possible. I think EHOME have gotten a draft they wanted and they feel confident about. Even if some of us here, as far as the analysts go, don't feel it's going to be able to match up as well as they'd like against NP. The Slack as a mid-hero is something we've seen from a few different teams. Notably, QO from MVP can match up very well against the Mirani. You can't leap out of that pounce. And Lesh, if you get the farm you need, can also be a very effective hero as well. Maybe even something where they put Silent in the mid lane again if they want. It does look like he is gearing up to go that direction. So I mean, it's tough though. Warlock, Luna, to me this is NP playing their like bread and butter heroes.
Yeah, this feels real comfortable, and you can understand why the panel wants to kind of lean towards MP. This draft looks so much better, like 10 times better than their game 1 draft. A lot easier to execute, especially if they can get first blood. They find Old Chicken, and already with the pounce away, Old Chicken will be away to safety. No Burrow Strike from SVG in range.
out. Doesn't really matter if you level up Pounce level 1 too much. Hey, sometimes you want to have the Eshin shift if you're trading right click to the melee hero come laning stage, which is the Beastmaster, but not going to hurt him too badly.
Well, let's get things started. Is anything really too far out of the ordinary with our lane? So no surprise for the MP lanes, AUI on the bottom. This will push the Mirana of MV in towards the mid, and then MSS off lane with supports doing their own thing. And Old 11 is that off lane Night Stalker with the mid Sylar track and the top lane Old Chicken.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. It's what you'd kind of expect. The Slack and the Omni-Knight work very well. Normally you don't see the melee supports with a melee carry, but because of that Pounce and Purification synergy, this dual lane does work. MP are going to contest the off lane. I guess the one perhaps big thing that is going on with the lanes as far as SVG being up top with the boots first. He wants to be up here and having that Burrow Strike as well as what I imagine will be the level 2 Caustic can be very bothersome for these two melee heroes.
I'm interested just exactly how bothersome it is. Like, normally you'd think like Caustic would do a little bit more work. Burrow Strike, yeah, you go on a hero, then you get purified straight back again. Envy, stop getting hit. That's 2 split Earths in a row for Sylar. And he's just chip arresting this one out. He's got 5 of those in him until he gets his bottle.
Yeah, you can keep throwing them for a little while here. Envy's got the Bassi first, so just trying to use that to mess with the last thing of Sylar, which is where he's like, well, you're going to use Bassi, I'm just going to use my Split Earth if I need last hits.
It's a very old school, well, I say old school, it's a different way of doing it to Latrak. Back when his lightning was more stronger, like you'd use that instead to find all your farm as well as harassment on the mid lane, but now that ability is just kind of, well, ass.
Yeah, it's pretty ass. That sums it up nicely.
Waiting for it again.
I mean, this is one of those things. We've heard a few mid players talk about it. With versing Envy mid when he goes his Bassi, it's pretty infuriating when he's just toggling that in front of you, messing with your last hits. But especially when it's under the tower damage is something normally you can last hit around if you're used to how much damage it does. But the bonus 2 armor from the Bassi completely screws with it. Really obnoxious and never fun for a mid to deal with.
Wow, this pulling from SVG as well as MSS is messing with EHOME's equilibrium on that top lane, making life just a little bit more difficult for Slark. Currently, Old Chicken only at 2 CS on this off lane, compared to MSS who's managed to get 7 out of this. So this is a lot better start for the Beastmaster for MP in this game.
Definitely exploiting the weak point of the Slack, which is his lane stage. If you can ever contest his lane, it definitely goes a long way.
No, AUI is not having anything to do with that. That's a double damage rune. Ogre and Rose is too far away. Should also note too the fact, okay, now he will. Like, Rose was holding on to his abilities, now he's gone the 1-1.
Yep, this is what we're seeing most of the time, just completely skipping the upheaval because of how strong. I mean, we've seen so many fights won based on Fatal Bond, so the more targets, the better. And as much as upheaval is also an amazing spell, you really need to get 2-3 points in upheaval before it starts getting powerful. So it just means you miss out on too much damage from the Fatal Bonds to really justify getting it anytime in the early game.
Even your base attack's probably going to bring more damage overall to the fight than something like upheaval. As EHOME, they're still finding a decent amount out of all the lanes. The Sylar's off to a pretty decent start up against Envy.
Yep.
As the battle, just the chip is happening here.
And Sylar's, yeah, straight up winning this lane 1v1. Not too sure without the lightning whether this is meant to be as less track favored as it is, but Sylar showing some good skills in terms of his mid mechanics.
Gotta wait for that rotation. SVG, a very wild stun, and now Sylar returns it. Doesn't turn on his Edict, however. Just as happy to harass the SK back out. So, interesting rotations coming in from SVG.
Yeah, perhaps a bit of those land jitters to get down a game playing one of your first big lands. You see a missed Pyro Strike there. Sylar sitting pretty in this middle lane now with 18 CS. Top of the CS have their eyes on it.
MV trying to contest that top rune. This time SVG hits the mark. Sylar cannot get enough life in time. Now it's Lanham who steals a haste rune, looking for that extra target. Got a little bit of extra help from the Edict damage, but now with the help of Garda, Purification still a little bit too far out. So the chip damage is there, but the kill still goes the way of NP.
That was a bit ambitious from Sylar, thinking he could just walk through the river to get a room with a Arrow Strike Starstorm damage. Even if it's not a Starstorm, it's like an arrow or something, he could have been in a lot of trouble. So Sylar just kind of overestimating just how tanky he is there and gets punished for it. Needs to perhaps pick up some raindrops when he can afford it. If you want to make plays like that, you can block the Burrow Strike damage at least, but as it stands, all three cores of EHOME still getting some decent CS. Luna may be top of the CS charts, but it's not by a
opportunity on bottom lane. Rose, old 11 starts having a crack at him. Support was on its way. Lanham's a little bit too far off, and with the Lucent Beam, distance is created, but this is the nighttime fighter. An old 11, very simple pickoff when he finds that hero so far away.
Yeah, that's a nice kill to get when you first hit that nighttime phase, get the Night Stalker rolling. Doesn't have much in the way of items just yet, but if you can get kills just with your brown boots, full man shield, great position to be in.
A nice surprising factor too from EHOME, the fact that you're running this Night Stalker core with so much space. The first nighttime phase, we've been used to having Night Stalkers with very low levels, having a little bit of chip damage, but having that 3 points up in Void from old 11, hit the truck.
He's got, phase boots money now, so now he's going to right click even harder. This is a Night Stalker you've got to be worried about as far as those rotations go.
Opportunity for mid lane if SVG can close the distance fast enough, but this is nighttime. Vision is not fantastic for him.
Yeah, just got his raindrops, has level 6, so if you go in him with a Burrow Strike, he can turn it around with Edict, Pulse Nova, and you really need that burst damage from both Burrow Strike and Starstorm, which is unlikely to be there if you have the infused raindrops.
You can see EHOME's mindset now switching to be a little bit more to the how do we make sure NP don't get huge injection of money. The 2 Observer Wards that were planted down by Lanham, he went very deep into the Radiant jungle to get these things down. So yeah, he sees the rotation of MSS off the top lane, ensure a little bit of farm. Envy as well as SVG also on the rotation under the cover of smoke.
They smoked right by that Observer Ward. They may have been behind the tree patch, but I believe it should be... Well, they actually dire scan around the mid lane, expecting them to be over there, but they are looking around this bottom lane.
They're expecting a wrap around to gank Sylar.
Yeah, I mean, Sylar is not having any of it. He's sitting in his jungle on the high ground.
Old 11's about to break the smoke. Envy, yeah, it's off on him, and, well, a little bit of a twisty turn from Old 11. Just blows a bit of wind their way, and MP knows the gig is up. In fact, now is EHOME's turn, as they're grouping up behind the Tier 1 tower, looking for that opportunity, but it's MP attacking the bottom Tier 1 instead.
They got scattered out by the Hulk as well, so not going to go for any kind of a smoke play. They just want to defend their towers here, and AY with an Eclipse is it dangerous here to go. If you want to make plays around this bottom lane, you've got to be able to burst down that Luna to not let her turn things around on you, and 2 heroes is not going to cut it. So it seems like EHOME's plan is just to fall back, kind of secure some of their lanes a bit here. You've got an Omni Knight on your team. This is not a hero that's really known for being able to rotate around or really force those laning stage fights too much.
Old 11 just chipping on a UI, Lucent Beam in return. MP really want to fight. They're still within the last 30 seconds of this nighttime phase. So at least force the Night Stalker to burn his nightmare.
Yeah, he's going to have Darkness if he wants to kill it.
He's holding a point for a moment for Darkness.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't need it, you can go for the Hunter, but realistically it's going to be daytime, and you're going to at least have an opportunity. If there's an opportunity that presents itself to use it, you skill it up and then you go for it. But as it stands, already level 7, so really nice experience on this offlane Night Stalker. And the lane stage has been somewhat salvaged as Old Chicken is farming just fine. We talked about how he was struggling initially against the Beastmaster Sand King lane. Old Chicken with treads, raindrops himself, level 7, about to be level 8. Has kind of found himself back where he wants to be on the Slark.
And with all the space for Garda, like, I just love the timing as well. Like, Sylar was able to find himself a regeneration rune, so he just went into the jungle, stacked up a small amount, and then just flash farmed straight back to full life and mana. Garda took the experience in mid lane, now they give it over to Lanham. EHOME, throughout this series, really prioritizing that, not just the levels on their cores, but also this safe lane area where they can just farm.
I mean, Resh is a pretty decent jungling hero. Edict is actually surprisingly good at killing a lot of those bigger neutral creeps, so Sylar is just going to set up camp there and free up the other lane. So yeah, Lanham can get some XP, Garda can get some XP. Even, you know, distribution coming out, and that gets Sylar up to his point. He's kind of at that point where he's just so squishy without one of those HP items. Didn't have a point booster, didn't have an Ogre Club or Bit booster, so now he's got the point booster. He can be a lot more aggressive with that extra couple hundred health.
Nice get out by Rose. He saw the Invis rune was triggered because it was right on top of their own Radiant Observer Ward inside EHOME's jungle. So they know Sylar is here, so they smoke up themselves. They're bringing in MSS as well as himself, Rose. And they're going to use SVG as bait. So SVG, now he walks out just far enough to Siler will think about going for it, but they sentry one. They find him there, commit the epicenter, raw to hold the left rack in position. And a good bait set up by good vision for MP.
Yeah, that's, you said it, having the vision there being the key factor as NP would like to transition out of this one, but without a rock, without too much to keep them going, they're not going to be able to push and convert that one into a tower, but that is a big kill onto the Leshrac, who's now 0-2. Has managed to farm okay both in lane as well as the jungle, but typically here you want to see getting involved in some of the action early on to find some kills for your team. Hasn't been able to do so, but Slack already halfway to his Shadow Blade is going to be a problem for NP if they can't stop him from farming up here.
Because if he starts having successful ganks, this will create space for Siler, and with 4 points up in Edict, we've been talking about how great Pulse Nova and Edict is for farming. Pushing is unbelievably good as well.
EHOME, they're actually smoking towards this top lane now.
It's very rare a team would like to defend their safe lane tower around the 11-minute mark, but in this case they want to.
There's only an Eclipse, they're missing the other two big ultimates.
Is up. They see Old Chicken moving around the side. Now Siler and Lanham also be revealed. AUY, the Moonlight Shadow, they need to get in busy. Let's the Eclipse go. Won't be able to TP out. So the top tower will stay alive for EHOME. AUY is the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, I imagine NP were expecting them to kind of... Typically it's one of those things where if you're a carry like a Luna, you TP to the offlane to push with your team. The opposing carry, the Slack, TP's bottom. He's like, okay, I can't defend this by myself. I'm going to TP bottom and just farm down there, farm your side of the map. But instead, EHOME make an aggressive smoke maneuver, come up and contest it, knowing that Warlock has... If Warlock has 6 there, they probably can't make that move. But because Warlock's
Envy caught out near the top rune, it's going to be him. Leashed up, then silenced. He can't leap away. And one charge won't keep him up long enough either. EHOME. An easy pick-off like that on Eternal Envy means that tier 1 tower is toast.
Oh, they saw Rose as well. Whether or not they want to go for him is another matter. It does hit daytime. If it stayed night, may have been a dive they wanted to look for, but both Night Stalker and Slack losing a lot of their vision. The daytime coming back. It will only be daytime for another 15 seconds, and then NP have to be very careful about how they play around the map. They need to maintain some good vision. They need to kind of stick together a bit because the aggressive potential from a Night Stalker with phase, point booster, and a Slack who's about to have a Shadow Blade at nighttime really skyrockets.
And that's why they're trying to make the most out of this time by they push SVG to the bot lane, give him as much of his Blink Dagger farm as possible. Now it's Envy who will soak up the farm. But once they have that, combining up with Rose's ultimate, that is a level 6, so the rock is up. EHOME have to give respect as well to MP. You get Fatally Bonds rocked and then into the Starfall of the Mirana. That's going to hurt.
And then MP going to go for a smoke play. You know you're kind of at a disadvantage when it's nighttime, so what do? You stick together, you use smoke to kind of tip the advantage back to your way, so make sure that you're going to get the better initiation, that you get the jump.
The issue is they don't see anybody until now. Ogre has walked underneath the Hawk, so they know where Lanham is. He's just happy just to waddle himself down, throws down the Sentry Warp with the Burrow Strike into the epicenter over on Slark with a Raw there. There's no Shadow Blade, there's no Darkheit to protect him. And now it's MP's turn to turn from kill into push. They'll get a tier 1 tower at least.
That's such a good kill to get. Right as he buys the Shadow Blade, you stop that first gank coming out. Slack probably realized he'd been spotted with the Shadow Dance being removed, but he probably just assumed it's a ward up there and he's not going to get jumped. But MP were there ready to jump him. And
keep your eyes on mid. MP's going to TP in, and so a swing and a miss for the arrow. And old 11 and Rose.
Doing a little dance.
I see nothing. I see nothing up a hill.
Rose may not know it, but he should be pretty damn scared right now.
Let's be very happy old 11 hasn't finished up his Aghanim Scepter. Only 2,000-ish away from having it. And then Rose's position hiding in the trees. You know why he's there. He's waiting. Do they see him? Yeah, they saw him. They're going to split Earth. They get the stun. He's deep inside the tree line, however. And EHOME don't want to dive in that deep.
Trying to take advantage of the Raw being down. They know they can't get too aggressive because of the rock, but ideally finding a pick before the Raw comes back up was going to be the play there, but it's now back online. 5 seconds away is that Raw. Moonlight Shadow looking to initiate for NP.
Now, with no fortification, and the Luna was too far out, AUI spent a lot of time farming on the top lane. So it's taken him too long to get back to the mid with no TP scroll available for him.
Right?
There was no way to get in. EHOME could potentially... Oh, EHOME can't really do that.
They can, but...
Oh, they don't have...
Oh, they're pinging the ward. That's more likely. That's probably the Slack. Like, there is still a ward here, guys. Let's take it out. Yeah, the courier goes up, scouts it, and should be dewarded.
More money
fairly
for
soon.
Sylar, right? Bring on the Bloodstone.
Sure, yeah, that's what he's going to be looking for.
Old 11, the Roar is out. There is a quick purification as well as Repel. So Old 11 getting a lot of that life back already. And now the Necro units move forward and back. We play this dance.
I'm surprised he didn't just nuke down that red Necro book with the Repel. Would have been some nice cash for him, but probably wanted to save the nuke and be ready for a fight that is about to break out.
Should flag the fact that Sylar doesn't have mana to TP back to mid at the moment. He's a little bit short, so this is EHOME accepting the loss, not looking to fight. So a straight tier 1 tower. Expect some kind of fishing arrow from MV pretty shortly. Got to look for EHOME. And we hit the standard position for a dire side team. They can just flank around the back. Old Chicken with the invis maneuver. Can jump in close too. SVG not taking the bait for a Burrow Strike.
Yeah, he's trying to buy time to get Sylar back in fighting shape and also to scare MP off. MP don't realize exactly where Sylar is. They don't know that he's back healing and wasn't ready to fight. Otherwise, they may have pressed their advantage a bit more, but they reposition and we'll look to jump from the high ground.
Oh, that Observer Ward. We're going to see the Slark running down because Slark loses his ultimate, so now
he realizes
EHOME,
something's up.
Yeah, they know NP can see him.
What he's saying is a ward. He doesn't know exactly where is the main thing, which side of the river it's on.
NP aren't even going to fight. They just bail out. So if EHOME want to bring 5 players to the mid after that farming on the Lashrak, they'll just move to the top lane, fight to the tier 1 tower. And they still want to have that fight. EHOME doesn't want to give it to them, but they have GA. Is that the mech? Okay, now actually EHOME will want to give it to them. The mech's flying out in the courier.
Yeah,
they may feel confident enough to fight into Warlock's ulti now.
They just dewarded too. It's daytime, but they can pop the darkness, so they'll have a long enough 50-second darkness duration for this fight. And if they can burst down something like a Warlock.
Sentry Ward, they saw Old Chicken. Old Chicken comes in close, of course. When he loses that ultimate, he knows they can see him walking in close. There goes your roll with the loosened beam. Rock will drop. A little bit too far away to link them all together with a fatal bond. It's only Lam as well as 11 who are locked together as the old men. And without that first initial kill, there's this nice powerful Garda protected by that repel. It's going to last a little bit longer, getting back in range of the creep wave. The stun, keeping out the golem. Object with the leap up, but SVG is there for the fire strike. Arrow flies up, and it'll be Lana stunned in hell. They go for a second fatal bond, and now it's MP rolling through them. They'll beat Lana down. And it's a double kill for MSF. Garda and Old 11 licking their wounds, not only do they lose 3 heroes, this is 2 towers as well that MP will claim.
Just a Warlock doing the most damage in a team fight of his whole team. That fatal bond at the end, catching 4 heroes, making all the difference there for NP. Fantastic patience coming out from Rose to make sure he found it, and it's too difficult for Slark to fight into them. Even when he scouts out the sentry, baits out the rock early on, he still can't fight because of all the AoE. There's a Burrow Strike, there's a Starstorm, there's arrows flying around, there's wild axes. There's too much AoE for him to deal with in a fight like this, and I think EHOME are just better off not trying to fight into NP, but playing the split push game until they get another item or two. Slark needs to tank up a bit more, get his Echo Saber, maybe even an item on top of the Echo Saber before he's truly ready to try and engage into NP in that kind of situation.
Well, the Echo Saber would be nice, the Agony needs to be completed, the Bloodstone, all these things you start listing. EHOME needs space on the map to farm, and maybe that is just it. It's a game of traits now for them. Find a farm every way you can possibly get it, but you also need to see what's happening from NP.
And they had a lot of
NP are watching EHOME very closely.
They knew NP were 5-man pushing top. They had mid lane to farm, they had bottom lane to farm, they had the Radiant jungle, they had a lot of open areas on the map to play around, and they took the more aggressive, risky approach, which was fighting. It was high risk, high reward. If they win that fight, it slows down NP's 5-man, it gets them a big advantage, but it was one of those scenarios where Slark just isn't quite ready to fight. Even with some nicely skilled play from Old Chicken, scouting out the Sentry Ward, he managed to Dark Pact off the Roar. Even with plays like that, they're still not winning the fight.
Because of this fight now, NP is starting to pick up some big items. The Blink Dagger wasn't there previously for SVG. He'll have that. Combining it with the Aghanim Scepter, this is that combo we were talking. Like the Fatal Bonds plus that double Starfall damage and EHOME, they will just have to bail out as quick as they can. And this gives more space for AUI to be effective in the fights. He's not the one that EHOME can just initiate, pop down, and then just say, hey, we will now win the physical DPS.
Yeah, this is multi-hero threat. Even the Beastmaster, once he has a Necro 3, can dish out some great single target damage. He can kill almost anyone he wants if they don't get protected by an Omni. If he gets a raw up on a Lesh or a Slack with the Necro 3, those heroes will melt very, very quickly. EHOME ideally need to find a good next fight. They've just picked up the Bloodstone. They want to start racking up some charges and seeing things swing their way. Using smokes is fine, but I think smoking into the 5-man of NP where you're going into the rock plus Fatal Bonds can just be devastating. It's a level 4 Fatal Bonds. Rose knows how powerful this spell can be, opting to max it out by level 7, and that's something EHOME just have to respect.
They just have to win on positioning then. You're going to have the Night Stalker Ags up right now. In fact, it's coming on the Courier, so Alt 11's going to have that huge vision advantage against NP. Take the fights you know you can win. At all other times, fall back, defend from inside your base, and then come back out again. It's not as though NP have a lineup which will keep you pressured inside your base. There's no Naga Siren pushing in every single lane against you. There's none of this like Slark threat which EHOME has.
Ideally, they want to be going on the Warlock before he can use his spells, but it's very difficult to do because they don't have any great gap closes. There's no blink daggers. I mean, Slack can try and Shadowblade through, but Warlock's always going to be seen behind Sentry Ward. So to get to the Warlock, you're going to get spotted before you can get there. Night Stalker, same thing. You may be able to see the Warlock where he's positioned behind people, but you can't actually physically get to him because heroes like Sanking, Beastmaster, Mirana are going to be between you and that Warlock. So trying to stop the Rock and the Fatal Bonds from coming out is much easier said than done.
Oh, if there is a team that could potentially do it, we'll see how EHOME approach it. But now, they're still farming up underneath that MP ward that's been there for a very long time inside the Dire jungle. They've seen all the movements of EHOME. That's why MP know where they can go out. They know they can farm up their other critical items. AUI approaching the Manta style. In fact, not just approaching, completed.
He's got a lot of farm on himself with a couple ancient stacks recently. They've kind of slowed things down, gone into this farming phase. Once you win that first big fight and you get the edge because you take 2 towers.
Sylar gonna slow him down a little bit of lightning. Garner's behind it, and Envy, he knows he's in no peril. Sylar doesn't have a Yule Scepter, so there's no easy setup for the split Earth. But anything he could do to stop feeding charges to Sylar. With that Bloodstone being up, you know that Lesh wants to be involved in a really good fight. And NP may oblige them. Smoking underneath their own tier 2 tower away from all vision of EHOME. NP will now come on the hunt.
The NP are ready to go with the Manta pick up, with another Rock up. They've got their ultis, they're ready to fight. Level 3 Necrobook, Mirana with the Ags. There's not really any key items that they're missing. Everyone's probably saying, yeah, are you ready to fight? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready too. Let's go.
The only thing they're lacking is the Moonlight Shadow from Mirana. So closing the distance is, they're still got SVG, and Leshrac is a very, very juicy morsel. But you see Garda's positioning, always perfectly behind Sylar. Anyone that uses bait, there's just instant backup.
Yeah, the way the Warlock's the problem hero to deal with on the EHOME side, it's the Omni Knight for NP that they have to find an answer for. They don't have diffusal buyers.
Smoked on the Hawk. The Hawk was watching him farm, and now NP, if they want to, they can just barricade themselves into the Dire jungle, cross the line and die.
The Moonlight Shadow and everything.
Sentry wards are down. They don't see the Hawk.
I think it seems EHOME may have... The Hawk did die that was on top of them, so they may have spotted it as it disappeared. And they also have a Dire Sentry Ward in mid lane, which should have spotted it, a fresh Radiant.
Does the creep wave actually turn? Yeah, the one range creep will turn up and get rid of that Observer Ward.
That was a fresh plant too, so they know that ward was planted just now, and that'll reveal exactly where MP are, but
NP's just going in.
Yeah.
They're going in for the tier 3 tower. EHOME may not have been really expecting this because they're out of position. Have to burn their fortification early. The Observer Ward is still there. Old Chicken's pinging. He's just like, he knows he's visible. More than likely, he'll think us up on the hill, and it's maybe just a Hawk.
Yeah, it's the tough thing, Eric. You never know whether it's Opt Wards, Hawks. Ideally buying it. They've got the money for the gem on Alt 11 if he wants to buy it, but he also needs to have buyback. If they're going to threaten to go for a high ground push, you want to make sure you have that. And he's probably asking one of his supports to buy it for him. Ideally, someone like the Ogre can buy the gem for him.
The Ogre is like, well, he's poor, to say the least.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's a Bloodlust machine. That's his role. Throw some Bloodlusts.
Well, at least they get the sentry.
Hawks. There we go.
Yeah. Take out the other sentry before you lose your own.
And the key here is to kind of have a live in fight. The Night Stalker and the Omni. The Night Stalker for the vision, the Omni for sustaining your carries, and if either of those two gets burst, that's where MP will be able to break your base. So both those two heroes ideally wanted to hold for buyback, but they decide it's just not possible. They're going to buy a gem on Night Stalker, and themselves in a bit of a risky position here.
Well, they're really going to protect that then. Other item up is going to be Sylar, walking around with that Veil of Discord. This will at least be a little bit more insurance now for EHOME. Like, they see the Beastmaster Hawk just sitting there. Like, 11, okay, yeah, he does definitely see the Hawk.
Yeah, they're starting to lose the farm game now, which is the result of losing that top fight, because they lost both Tier 1 and Tier 2 up top. The map vision game, I mean, they were ones with the Night Stalker. They're meant to be able to kind of maintain some map control, but MP pushed lane so well with the Luna, with the Mirana.
On top lane, there's your initiation on Envy. Starts his TP out, Old Chicken. Cannot do anywhere near enough damage for this.
Right.
And with that initiation now, NP, like the Slar can still TP back to the mid lane if he wishes to defend this.
Yeah, they're going to have to give this one up, it looks like. Just get some farm elsewhere. Old Chicken trying to get towards that BKB, just so he can deal with the AoE damage of Sand King Mirana. Even the Luna Eclipse has most of the components, so we'll be able to have it probably before a high ground defense, but not for this Roshan, which NP may be going to get uncontested. Even will have to be fast if they want to stop this one.
Well, they only just TP'd Sylar back to the mid lane so he can... Well, the mid lane's already pushed out far enough. If EHOME even knows this is happening, all their vision's a long way away. Old Chicken's now going to show himself up on the top lane. It's a TP score to go to the Tier 2 tower, but it's already too late. Roshan's down at 2k. But that'll be a lot less.
They seem to know. The fact that Sylar like pushed mid as aggressively as he did, somewhat by himself, signals that he's aware that there's something like a Roche going on. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the confidence to push out the lanes as much as he did. So they get some farm on the mid lane, the top lane, while Roche is going down. Old Chicken just about completing his BKB. So we'll have that for the high ground defense. It's not like they got nothing in exchange to the Roshan, but it's still going to be a very tough hold. Once NP come towards their base, they're close to hitting the level 2 Warlock ultimate, close to hitting a level 2 Sand King ultimate. Mirana's got another 1800 gold, Luna's got the BKB, there's the big team fight item she needs.
It's the BKB plus the Aegis inside of the Luna. This will allow NP to be very aggressive and just push the Luna up onto the high ground. Take out the Tier 3 tower, and we've seen it time and time again throughout the Boston Major. Luna's Glaze bounce around, destroy almost all the supports, and that's too much healing for a Omni Knight to handle.
I wonder if we'll see any kind of diffusal from NP anytime soon. Perhaps Luna's next item, or even someone like Mirana could buy it, because bursting down some of these repel targets could be one of the bigger problems. Sylar on the high ground with a repel can hold very well as the Lesh, or even a repel on the Slack. Well, he's got the BKB now, which perhaps suggests the repel's mostly going to be going onto the Lesh rack.
Yeah, they kind of have to babysit him more. Sylar's still got a decent amount of money holding onto the 2600. Yep. Hasn't decided exactly which path he wants to go, if he needs to turn this into split with BTs, but right now it's defense time. Hold on to the buyback money, because NP, they're coming in through the bot lane. Rose is watching the back end, Old 11 trying to get a little bit of extra vision. Also behind NP. Thanks to that observer from the Hawk. They do have a little bit, but we are still under the cover of darkness, so EHOME will be winning the vision band. Oh my, that's a lot of stuns.
That's a free Aegis. That's really nice for them.
And they're looking for it again. With the Edict turned on, Old Chicken wants to hold AUI here. Now he triggers the BKB with the rock to fall down. Metalbones needs to connect. A lot of damage. Garda's going to fall before he gets the ulti off, but no buyback available. Both supports down for EHOME. Old Chicken with his fresh BKB. He managed to find the opening, so killed off the Warlock. The Lightning chipping down AUI, but he had one charge available. The Forest Strike is there, and Old Chicken with a level 3 Necro box. There was nowhere to hide. There's 3 heroes without buyback for EHOME. NP, they will take at least one lane of racks, and if they get this done, Sylar will drop as well. An ultra kill for AUI. And EHOME are well on the ropes.
They may just have ended the game with that fight. Slack without a buyback because he commits to the BKB, and the big thing there is the Omni Knight got taken out of the fight. Didn't get a mech, a Guardian Angel, no heals, repels. He did not get anything off. And
oh, Burrow Strike, they caught Old 11 outside the base. EHOME, one by one, they keep getting picked out. There's no buyback for the Night Stalker, so they have to continue to fight with one man down. And MP, all these abilities, they're so cheap. They're not big ultimates. It's Blink Burrow Strike. They jump in again. The Guardian Angel this time is up, protecting Sylar with the Lightning Slow. MSS dropping down low. They need another stun, but MP too quick on the Panther. Able to get away.
Oh, they don't get the second melee racks. EHOME hold that one, but NP winning that fight around their ultimates. get the first lane of racks. They don't have an Aegis anymore, but they're going to have a couple new nice fresh items. The diffusal blades picked up, AUI approaching the level 16 as well. We'll take one more look at just what happened here. The Omni Knight, the key hero, who just got completely taken out. MSS found him on the back there with the blink in, and that completely took away EHOME's team fight.
Yeah, and EHOME were very focused. They wanted the Luna dead. Of course, you burn through the Aegis, like, hey, this is a great time. She's sitting on our stairwell. This should be the opening. We won. Comes back alive again, has time to trigger the BKB. There was no straight stun from the Leshrac, didn't even attempt the split Earth. And then the rest of it was the MSS show. NB agrees. Good fight.
Thanks, MSS. Well done. But they may just look to go again. Next Warlock Ultimate's coming up in 25 seconds. They can look to do a similar thing down the mid lane. Yes, they had the Aegis, but they didn't really get much value out of that Aegis. It did kind of force EHOME in a little bit, but they can realistically do that around AUI even without the Aegis, and this mid lane could be getting pushed here.
Sylar being initiated on. Lanham's right behind him at AUI with elusive beam. Envy triggers BKB, hits the arrow. Sylar's gonna fall. He still has buyback, but this is Sylar who's been walking around with close to 4,000 gold. Not spending a bit of it now, he does. He buys an Ogre Club. I think he's had enough of the magical damage. He must be going for a BKB.
Yeah, I think it will be the BKB, but he's going to have to perhaps buy back if they want to defend these racks. There's no clip available.
Watch Old Chicken's maneuver. Coming in from behind. He wants the opening. Remember, MSS has that gem of marble, so Old Chicken starts to fight. Gets BKB off, though, just to duck the stun from SVG.
He's been kited. That's BKB and Shadow Dance down.
And buyback.
And the less buyback. That's about as bad as it gets for EHOME. And there we go. Here's the re-goose from NP. They want to go back in.
There's the pull out, and then to go straight back in again. Can they find the opening? Luna's doing most of the work. The Necros only have 14 seconds left, and no creep wave here for NP, but it doesn't stop them from just walking in and hunting heroes. That's fine. Backdoor regeneration, they don't really care that much about. They take the creep wave, let AUI do the work. An Old Chicken. Now he has to play the bait game on the front lines.
AUI is just being a bit cautious about this one. What happened from that last push? A nice Manta dodge.
BKB is up as well right now for Envy. They jump in, the rock will hit. The fatal bomb is perfect. This could be it right now. EHOME, they are being moonshined out right now by NP, and there it is. GG! Our first game in the playoff to reach a third game in the series.
Very well executed. They found their timings. They grouped up when they needed to. Around the Luna, the Beastmaster, they just had such a strong five-man pushing forth with all the attack speed auras coming out from the Beastmaster, the physical damage from the Luna. And then they had the teamfight edge, the Warlock, the big hero that won them that first deciding fight at that top tier 1 tower. That was kind of the difference maker there. Rose has proven time and time again what he can offer in a teamfight. He's always in such a good position to make sure he gets off the ideal rock and hit multiple heroes with that fatal bonds.
Man, it was absolutely perfect. The space, just the work from both supports, they took nothing, literally nothing. Both of them had no kills, but together combined they had 23 assists in that game. It was really the sacrificial supports from SVG as well as Rose. Did a fantastic job, made the space. MSS, great target selection. We didn't really see that as an option in game 1, but this time around it seemed that NP knew exactly who they wanted to kill off, and NP, game 3 machine, we're having a game 3 thanks to him.
Finally, it's happened. Yeah, it did take a while, but